You've heard the terms harmony and melody before. Oh my gosh, that's such a nice melody. Or, I really love the way the Beatles sang harmony, right? Or, can you sing harmony on Happy Birthday? Like, you've heard these terms, right? You've used these in your life. And those uses of the words are perfectly fine. I mean, they're absolutely descriptive of what's going on. But taking a moment and sort of rewinding and diving into the actual definition of these words, and especially like putting them on the guitar and understanding them on this instrument, because that's why we're here, puts you in league, sort of in line, dials you into the sort of function, how music actually works. Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. Today you will learn about harmony and melody. Now, as I said at the top, these terms are used widely, and these are correct uses of the term. But what I want to do today is sort of dial in a little bit deeper, just a little bit deeper, and get down into the fundamental description of what these words actually mean. And what it does is it allows you to look a little bit deeper at these two mechanisms, the mechanism of harmony and the mechanism of melody. And we're going to do this in a very cool way. The reason I'm filming this video is because I was really inspired by watching Rick Beato's channel. The other day he finally published his infamous Pat Metheny interview, which was fantastic. And about 3/4 of the way through, Pat Metheny, he's got his guitar in his lap, and he's talking about chords and melodies, and he says this thing, you know, harmony is vertical and melody is horizontal. And it just threw me back to a time at music school when I first learned about that thing, this idea about what harmony and what melody really are. And it really inspired me. And it allowed me to look at the instrument in a different way. So I wanted to share that with you today. So I'm going to explain what harmony and melody are, even though you already know what they are. But I'm going to just like take it down, just like peel off one layer and just show you the core understanding of it. And then I'm going to give you a couple of examples really quick. And then we're going to zoom in, and I'm going to introduce this idea of chord melody, which you may already know about. But it's basically the technique of playing chords and melodies at the same time, sort of being a solo, polyphonic instrumentalist. Polyphonic meaning I can play more than one note at a time. Right? I can play multiple notes at a time. Saxophones are monophonic. Guitars, pianos are polyphonic. So this idea of chord melody allows you to play chords and melodies at the same time and weave them together, which is really, really a powerful thing. It's not a jazz technique. It's not a fingerstyle technique. But if you listen to players like Pat Metheny or Joe Pass, great jazz players, they play chord melody. If you listen to somebody like Tommy Emmanuel, a fingerstyle player, he plays chord melody. James Taylor is playing chord melody all the time. So anyway, we're going to drill in here in a second, but let me first explain what harmony and melody is. Harmony is just notes being played at the same time. So anytime you play a chord, you're playing harmony. Any two notes. So a dyad, just like two notes, that's harmony. Or a full chord stack. So let me show you what this looks like on the staff. Here's this chord. It's an A13. It's a vertical stack on the staff, right? Here's the staff and the tab, just showing you that it occurs all at the same time, right? And here's a melody. And you can see that is a horizontal sort of sequence of notes, right? So harmony and melody. Now, combining them together into this chord melody idea is a very simple idea, and we're going to drill in and I'll show you how to do this, but check this out. I'm going to play the melody, and the note at the end of the melody happens to be the top of this chord. So instead of playing the note by itself, I'm going to play the whole chord at the end. Isn't that pretty? So now I'm combining melody and harmony together. Okay, let's zoom in and I'll show you how to start building this. Okay, harmony and melody. As I said at the top, these are two different terms. Let's figure out what they mean. Let's dive down a little bit deeper and get them on the guitar where they belong. That's why we're here. We want to bring these ideas right onto the fretboard so we can actually use them. These ideas, harmony and melody, are really fundamental building blocks of how music actually works. So bringing them together on the guitar is going to be very important for us. Let's just review. Harmony is vertical. Any chord, that's a harmonic stack. Playing those notes at the same time. That's a harmonic stack. That's a harmony. That's notes being played at the same time. Here's a melody. Notes being played along and sequentially along a linear or horizontal line. Right? Now, combining these two things together, being able to play polyphonically chords and melodies at the same time to bring across this idea is a great skill. You're using these two fundamental mechanisms together, and it just puts you in league, in line with how music works. It's really a great exercise. And again, it's not really attached to a specific style. It's not a jazz technique. It's not a fingerstyle technique. You don't need a lot of jazz theory. You don't need a lot of fingerstyle chops to do this, and that's what I want to focus on today. Okay, the harmony we're going to be using is A, right? There's our first stack, and D. There's our second stack. Those are our harmonic mechanisms. A chord, D chord. A major, D major. We're going to source our melody from the A major scale, and we're going to work to put these things together. I'm going to come up with a little melody, and I'm going to stitch these two chords together using that melody. And now we're going to start to see how these two things interact and how to glue them together and use these as sort of like pieces of the same fabric. I'm going to turn these chords into triads because, well, you know how I am. Here's A, and here's D. Okay? Here's our stack for A, our harmony. Here's our harmony stack for D. It's just harmony is another way of saying a chord. Here's our harmony. And our melody is going to go like this. Here's our A chord. We're going to start like this. That's our first melody. And our second melody is going to go like this. So we've got harmony. And we've got melody. Now we're going to stick them together. So I'm going to play this chord, and when I play this melody, this first melody, instead of playing the last note, I'm going to play the D chord, and the last note, that high note, is actually part of the chord. So here it is. Now I'm going to play the D chord again and use that top note to descend the melody. And instead of playing that last note, I'm going to play the chord again. What a simple idea. What a great, easy, simple idea to start to get these things connected. All you have to do is take a chord, or two chords obviously, and put them together with this melodic idea. We're landing on the note inside the chord and thus connecting these things together. That's it. It's a really simple idea. You can take this to a very, very deep level. And if you think of players like Pat Metheny or Joe Pass or Tommy Emmanuel, these are players who are using chord melody all the time in their playing. This represents the beginning of a technique that you can develop with any style and to a very, very deep degree. Okay, there it is, chord melody, harmony and melody, right? Using these two ideas, these two mechanisms at the same time to start to build a vocabulary of musical ideas that incorporate both of these constructs at the same time. It really connects you to how the guitar was designed, how any polyphonic instrument was designed, and really the sort of core fundamental gears of how music works, right? There's chords and there's melodies. There's harmony going on and there's melody moving through it. I've tabbed this all out. That's on Patreon. I've linked that in the description below. Head on over there if you'd like the tabs. We're also building a bit of a community over there and sort of discussing these ideas. And if you like this channel and the way this is moving and the way I provide information, you might head over there if you'd like to get a little deeper. Also, if you're just enjoying the channel and you want to show your support, I've also included a donate link down there if you're just feeling sort of comfortable about supporting the channel. And if you do, I appreciate that and I thank you in advance. Okay, Chord Melody, it's stylistically agnostic. It doesn't necessarily belong to jazz or fingerstyle. It's really just a combination of these two core constructs, harmony and melody at the same time. I suggest you grab two chords like we did when we zoomed in and put a scale over it and just experiment moving between the two chords. Play a chord, play the melody, end on a note in the chord and play the chord with that note on the top, just try it out. It gets you in league with and sort of dialed in and calibrated to the fundamental core mechanisms of how music works. It's really great. I hope you enjoy this and I'll see you next time.